Bop, bop, bop. Geeks is tuning in, baby. We got Geeks Vision. It's going down at the O2 London this Saturday. Let's get into it, baby. We got some bangers on this card. Geeks are all over it. Now. First fight of the night, Muhammad Makaev versus Cody Durden. This fight's freaking hilarious because this is Muhammad's debut, and he is an absolute stallion and a half. He's 5-0 pro, but if you want to look at wide terms, zoom out, I believe he's around 23-0 with all his amateur fights involved. Everything you hear about this guy, every video you watch, it's pure domination. In 23 fights, amateur or pro, the guy's not losing minutes, not losing seconds. So that cooks up to be a splatter. Cody Durden's not the best. I'm not going to sit here and like really shit on him. I'm just going to say that Muhammad's just that guy right now. And there's not going to be a guy like Cody Durden that's going to stop him right now. He's also racist per se. Someone else will bring that up. My pick's Muhammad. I'm going first round sub. Goosey, let's rip it.
Yeah, I can definitely get behind the Makaev sub in this one. Looking back at his old fights, 5-0, like you said, but crazy amateur record. Even in one of the fights I was watching, one of the commentators said, like, he's known for being pound for pound the best amateur in the world. I don't think they keep stats of that, but even being talked about as that is pretty cool. He has a knack for getting rear naked chokes. A lot of Durden's L's are by rear naked chokes, so I could definitely see that. And I'm going to pick Muhammad Makaev in this one. My only note, which would be a positive for Durden if he wins, would be London would absolutely hate him, and that would be a super funny post-fight interview. But I don't think we're going to get it. I think we get Muhammad Makaev on the mic after a dub.
Facts. Dano, spit it.
Yeah, we're going a clean sweep because I got to ride Makaev. I've never seen him fight live, but I've just heard so many stories about just videos on whatever of him fighting in the past or training stories. So like he's got a lot of hype around him. And I'm just not a big fan of Cody Durden. I feel like how Colby had that rumor of the UFC was going to cut him just because they didn't like his style. I feel like that's a Cody Durden right there. And I think he's nothing really special. And I think Makaev is like a high rising prospect. So I got to take him.
Yeah. Muhammad's going to be minus 360. This might be the lowest, believe it or not. This might be the lowest you can get him in a long time after this debut. So let's shake it up. Let's get into the next one. We're going to pop into the next one. It is a women's bout. It's Elise Reed versus Corey McKenna. Corey McKenna comes out 6-1, Wales fighter. And we got Elise Reed, 4-1, American. This one's interesting, but I think Corey McKenna just about outclasses her in every aspect, in every field. I think Corey McKenna is going to win a boring decision. I will say less. Goose.
Yeah, so I will say Corey McKenna definitely a little bit too lopsided in her direction. That being said, I'm picking her. I think she has really good all-around game, and she's like 22 years old, so she's probably going to be getting better and better each fight for at least the next couple years. But I think why I say that it is spiked a little bit was Elise Reed. She came in on short notice against Sajara Eubanks up a weight class. She's going back down to 115 in this one. I think we see the best Elise Reed, much better than we did in her debut, but I don't think that's going to be enough. And I'm going to side with Corey McKenna in this one.
Dano.
Yeah. I'm going to just hop on the bandwagon of Corey McKenna. I really don't know too much about him, but I have seen more footage of McKenna. I've seen more videos on Twitter and whatnot. So, and she looks good. So, I mean, there's no reason for me not to pick her. And then, of course, it's kind of like a home fight for her. I think this crowd's going to be rocking. So anyone close to England or from England, they're just going to be all going all out for him. But I got to go with McKenna.
Yeah, we're a little chalky to start this guy off. McKenna's going to be minus 250. Elise Reed plus 200. That's okay. A little bit of chalk. A little bit of chalk doesn't hurt anybody. But let's roll into the next one. The next one is a banger and a half. We got the prospect, Jack Shore, Wales fighter, 15-0, bantamweight, coming out against the Timur Valiev, and he's 18-2. And this guy's got some crazy shit. I mean, talk about a ball of energy. Timur throws the whole fucking kitchen sink at you. This guy hits you with kicks from every angle, punches like volume you've never seen before. It's kind of outrageous. I'm not going to lie. Jack Shore, on the other hand, one of the best grapplers the UFC's seen from a prospect entering the UFC in a long time. So it's going to be interesting to see how this fight plays out. I think, obviously, if it goes to the ground, it becomes one of those fights. Obviously, Jack Shore has the upper hand, even though Timur's no sleeper on the ground. So I don't think it's like lopsided. But I don't think this fight goes anywhere near the mat. I think that Timur is way too explosive, way too quick. I think his gas tank is going to be good enough. I think this is a stand-up war. And as much as I love Jack Shore and I want to ride this train, I think that Timur's just going to outpoint him in this matchup. I think Timur wins a close decision. The less time it spends on the floor, the more time Timur will be winning. I think all the time on the feet is going to be going to Timur. It's just a lot of volume to keep up with. Bold take, I guess. Goose, what you got?
Yeah, so you look at this one. I was a little bit surprised to see Jack Shore 15-0 being an underdog, but the line does make sense to me. That being said, I'm riding Jack Shore in this one. This one seems very similar to me to Bryce Mitchell and Edson Barboza, which just played out recently. I think Timur Valiev has a pretty similar skill set. He likes the kicks. That's tough when you're trying to stay up on the feet against a grappler, because you get one of those kicks caught, that's the easiest way to get taken down. So I think he's going to be a little bit suppressed on the feet. And I think that plays into Jack Shore's game plan, especially Jack Shore being the bigger guy, more reach, taller in there. He's going to be able to, I hope, hit him with some clean shots early, sort of set the tone there, and then work his way into takedowns. I've seen on the regional circuit, Timur Valiev has pretty good takedown defense. That being said, he's only going 50% in the UFC right now because he went 1 for 2 against Trevin Jones in his debut, and nobody's tried to take him down since. I think you throw that threat of the takedown, especially how good Jack Shore is on the ground, and Timur Valiev could shell up a little bit in there, be a little bit more nervous and apprehensive than he has been. And Jack Shore with plus money is never a bad bet. So I'm going to take Jack Shore in this one.
These are the facts, Dano.
Yeah, so we have all of our lists that we made, pound for pound, striker lists, and I had the grapple list, and I got Jack Shore sitting at number 4. I'm really high on Jack Shore. Jack Shore has his own gym. I can't think of the name of it, but he's got his own gym, which you got to be pretty damn good grappler to have your own gym. So I think if this fight can get to the ground, Jack Shore will definitely have the upper hand, even though, like you said, Valiev is no sleeper on the ground. But if he can gas out Valiev, which against Trevin Jones, I believe he was starting to gas out before he got put away. And if Jack Shore can gas you out, he'll just wet blanket you, and then sooner or later he'll find a submission. I think, like, if the later this fight goes, it'll benefit Jack Shore, and especially at underdog, I'm going to take that.
These are the facts. All right, that's going to be a brawl. Do not miss that one. That's a fact. We're going to jump into the next one. It is a light heavyweight scrap. Nikita Krylov, 27-8, versus the Paul Craig, 15-4. Paul Craig, man. This guy's game. I mean, slept on him so hard with Jamal Hill. I built an entire edit, a whole video dedicated to Jamal Hill. I called him the Geek of the Week. We gave him an award. we were like, it's a lock. It was like minus 310. I had too much money on it, and I look like an idiot. He got his arm strangled. Everyone knows how that went. I think Paul Craig comes out. He knows where he's at. This is his last run. He's back up there. This is a huge, huge fight for him. He beats this guy. There's no denying that he is going for the belt. He is a contender, a legit contender. People need to rethink. And as much as Krylov is going to be a huge threat in this fight, so is Jamal Hill. So I think that Paul Craig pulls some shit out of his ass and snaps a limb on Saturday night for the crowd and for the boys. I think we're going to get a limb snap. So don't at me on how or when, but I just think that he's going to pull some crazy shit. Like he could be losing the whole fight and snap a limb. I cannot sleep on Paul Craig anymore. If I bet this fight, my money will be on Paul Craig. I am passing the mic to Goose.
Yeah. Paul Craig, always a live dog, especially when he is supposed to lose a fight. You know, it seems like he always comes out and shocks the world. In this one, though, stylistically, I think it's a tough matchup for him. Because you look at it, Nikita Krylov, he's going to have the edge on the feet. Paul Craig's going to need to utilize takedowns, get this fight to the ground. His takedowns are not all that effective. In fact, not usually, but he ends up pulling guard a good bit, which is what he did on Jamal Hill and ended up getting the arm. But that also kind of plays into Nikita Krylov's game because he's very good at jiu-jitsu. You look at his record, he's gotten subbed a few times, but it's always when Nikita Krylov is on bottom. And I don't really see Nikita Krylov getting on bottom too much in this fight. And if he is, I think he'll be able to only be there for a little bit. You know, if he gets stuck on his back, he is in dangerous territory. But I think he'll be able to navigate that. That being said, Nikita Krylov from Ukraine, obviously not the best circumstances lately. So I don't know if he'll come in on his A game, but if he does, I'm siding with Nikita Krylov in this one.
Okay. Well, we'll backfire at you. Some notable L's for Krylov is a guillotine choke to Misha Serkinov, and he also got put in an arm triangle by Jan Blachowicz.
But that's from the top. You put the arm triangle on top.
No, I know.
Oh, yeah. No, I said he's gotten subbed, but only when he was on bottom.
Okay. But I'm just saying. All right, Dano.
All right. So back-to-back fights. I got fighters from my list, and we got Paul Craig sitting at number 8. I think he's lethal on the ground. And Goose, even though you said Nikita Krylov's never on his back, or you don't think he'll be on his back, I think Paul Craig is dangerous when he's on his back as well. Not only on top, on bottom, he's dangerous. I think the longer this fight goes, it'll benefit Paul Craig. I think on the feet, it'll be tough. I'll be nervous on the feet. Krylov's a dude. And I don't know about Paul Craig's chin, but I like this on the ground. And then the price. I mean, Paul Craig at underdog odds. You know, if Krylov takes him down and then, like you said, maybe a guillotine, you know, Paul Craig's sneaky with it. So I think he'll do something maybe. And hopefully I move him up on my list after this fight.
Yeah, Paul Craig's going to come out plus 160, Krylov minus 200. I mean, you can just imagine that Craig's just drilling submissions because there's really no chance that in his own body he can convince himself that he's going to win a stand-up with Krylov. So I'm interested to see what he pulls out of his bag of tricks, or if he just gets knocked dead like a sack of potatoes. I guess we're all going to have to find out on Saturday night, baby. Let's go into the next one. Oh, we're getting close to the main card. We got a heavyweight bout. Sergey Pavlovich, 14-1 versus Shamil Abdurakhimov, 28-6. Both Russians. So that's fire. Throw those guys in there. Let them beat the shit out of each other. I I got Sergey in this one, just way younger, way more explosive. I got Shamil being a little bit too washed up, just a little bit too much, man. Not too much thought on this fight. Just kind of zoom out and look at the trajectories of these guys. One guy's clearly trending one direction, one guy's clearly trending the other. It's not too hard to put one and one together. I think Sergey's going to come out and put on a show for London. So, Dano, what do you got?
Yeah, same thing. I think Pavlovich is like a total stud all around. And I kind of like compare Abdurakhimov with like a Andrei Arlovsky, but he's a little less than Andrei Arlovsky, just an older guy who can do everything, but there will be some dudes that are just better than him and will put a beating on him. And I think that'll happen. I think Shamil dodged a bullet with Tom Aspinall, but I think he just ran right into another one with Pavlovich. So I'm going to go with him.
Yeah, probably definitely better than Aspinall, but not too much better. Goosey.
Yeah, I definitely don't think that Shamil has no chance in this one. He has better striking skill on the feet, but you look at it, Sergey, 29 years old, one punch knockout power versus Shamil, who is 40 years old, and he's really going to have to break him down if he wants to get a finish in this one. I'm going to go with the 29-year-old who's on the come up, especially because if this fight does need to go to the grappling, Sergey has the wrestling background and would probably be the dominant force in those situations. So give me the guy with the better all-around game, the younger guy, the guy with more power. Give me Sergey Pavlovich in this one.
Yeah, let's take the physique in this matchup, eh? He's minus 310 though. Little bank. Shamil's plus 245. Let's move on to the next one. We're almost to the main card, which is absolute fireworks. The headliner of the prelims, we got Mike Grundy versus Makwan Amirkhani. Makwan Amirkhani is on some shit right now. I don't know what the fuck is in this guy's cereal, but he is not coming out and finishing fights like he was assumed to be doing at this point in his career, I should say. From one of the top prospects to one of the guys that is like on the verge of getting cut. Makwan's got so many skills. He's so good. He wins. It seems like he's winning so many of his fights and just kind of finds a way to lose. In this matchup, though, Mike Grundy, super heavy wrestler. Makwan, major jiu-jitsu guy. I think he's going to pose a lot of threats, even if he does get taken down, which is probably inevitable because Mike Grundy averages like 15 attempts a fight. So don't be surprised when this fight turns into a wrestling match real quick for 15 minutes. But I'd like Amirkhani to really, really battle for his spot in the UFC and make a statement with a big crowd. I think he's good under that kind of pressure. He's already proved to do it. He looked really good in his last fight, low key, man. He caught a really tough knee, really good prospect. I think he's going to bounce back. I don't think Mike Grundy's really anything that's like top 10 worthy. And I don't think that Makwan should have a huge problem with taking care of Mike Grundy. Give me Makwan by submission round 2. Let's go, Dano.
All right, so I'm gonna go with Grundy. I think I like how he's just a wrestler heavy, and I think he's just wrestler. Like I know he has some hands, but I just don't see anything like spectacular coming from him. But on the flip side, what's his name? Marquani. He's had a skid. He's lost 3 out of his last 4. He ran into Arnold Allen early on, and then Shane Burgos and Edson Barbosa. So those are tough losses. And then I think I see this fight just going as a wrestling clinic. Like you said, shoots takedowns. And I can only see that draining Marquand. So I'm going to side with Grundy on this one. And I think it'll be a decision. I can't really see him finishing him. I could see Grundy getting finished on the feet, but more times than not, I believe that Grundy's just going to wrestle him to a decision.
Valid points. Goose.
Okay, so if you asked me this question 1 week ago at this exact same time, I would have picked Makwan Amirkhani. In fact, last week I picked Kamwela Kirk to beat Damon Jackson because he beat Makwan Amirkhani. But I mean, Kamwela Kirk goes out, doesn't have a great performance. It lowers Amirkhani's stock in my eyes. I see Mike Grundy, the old school wrestling approach. No games played in that octagon. He's going in there. He's trying to get takedowns. Amirkhani does well when he is the dominant wrestler in there. I think Grundy is going to come with a pace, and he's going to keep coming no matter how tired he is. He's going to keep shooting takedowns, keep trying to work that wrestling game. And Amirkhani tends to gas out in the octagon. I think skill-wise, Makwan's the better fighter. Mentally, though, I think Grundy's the tougher dude. Because of that, I'm going to go Mike Grundy in this one.
Valid points all the way around. Looks like Grundy's going to snipe it. And that's probably for the best, probably not the smartest thing to ride a guy on such a skid. Here we go. We're moving into the main card. Let's get after it. We got a banger right off the rip. Jai Herbert versus Ilia Topuria. Ilia, 11-0, stallion and a half. He is moving up to lightweight in this matchup. He is dominant in his wins. He's got 10 finishes out of 11, 7 by sub, 3 by knockout. Jai Herbert, 30% takedown defense. I think that's going to be kind of the tail of the tape there. I mean, I see Ilia getting a first round submission in this one. I think Ilia is good enough to stand with him, but he's just going to be disciplined enough to know what's smart, because every second you spend standing with Jai Herbert is just, just time that you shouldn't be doing. So I'll leave it at that. I think can stand, will wrestle, will submit him. Give me Ilia Topuria. Round 1 submission. Let's go. Dano.
Yeah, so I'm going to side with Ilia Topuria too, but I want to say it's going to be a knockout. I think there's kind of a recipe in this fight where I don't think Herbert's chin's all there, or at least what it was. He's been knocked out by Francisco Trinaldo. And like you said, Topuria hits hard, and we're moving up a weight class, which is just adding more power to the punch. And what he did to Ryan Hall was pretty scary. Knocked Ryan Hall out cold. And I think if he sets himself up, puts him in the right position, he could definitely knock out Jai Herbert. But I don't think the odds should be what they are. I think Topuria is too big of a favorite because Herbert is a dog, but he's just not he doesn't pull the trigger all the time. He's kind of laid back and waits for his shots. And with Topuria, I don't think he can do that. So I got to go with Topuria.
Yeah, that's facts. Goose.
Yeah, I'm on Ilia Topuria in this one. He's looking like he could be that dude. He's got the skills to be that dude. So it's on him to go out and prove it at this point. I'm definitely not going to fade him. That being said, I'd love to see a little bit more focus on Jai Herbert. He's going out, getting hotel brawls with Mr. Patty the Baddie today. That's a little bit of unneeded drama when you're going up a weight class, fighting bigger dudes with knockout power, as Jai Herbert is a proven puncher, proven sniper in there. So Ilia Topuria, definitely going to have to be cautious early. I would love to see him get the takedowns, especially in the first round, and then expand to the feet. I don't want him to go out and try and trade early, but I think he's got the recipe to get it done over Jai Herbert, and I see him getting it done by submission personally. So
yeah, Ilia Topuria is just a stud. I mean, he can stand up with this guy, undoubtedly. It's just when you get to this level and you give guys this huge reach advantage and size advantage, it's like, yeah, we get it. You're like crazy good, but you know what I'm saying? It's just like you're just at this crazy disadvantage. So I do hope that he waits to settle into that if that's what he wants to do. Like you were saying, that would be smart. Let's move on to the next one. I'm not going to waste a lot of time with this one. Molly McCann versus Luana Carolina. I'm taking Molly McCann only because I want her to win with my heart. I didn't do any research. Dano.
Nice. So I'm gonna go with Molly McCann. I think she's a stud. Her last fight, she showed a lot of grit, and I think another home fight, a London card. I think the crowd's gonna be behind her, but she's also like an emotional fighter, and I definitely could see her the emotions getting the best of her and going out of her way to do something. And Carolina can strike, and I think that if it stays on the feet, it'll be a problem. I'd like to see McCann get the fight on the ground and, kind of just wet blanket it. I don't know if I can see a finish, but I think, she'll just feed off the crowd and the crowd's going to feed off of her. And I think it'll be a good fight. So I got to go with McCann, and it'll definitely hype up Patty Pimlet. So I got to root for that.
Yeah, if you're not rooting for Molly McCann in this fight, then I don't know really what the fuck you're doing, bro. What you got, Goose?
Yeah. This fight, I mean, we're splitting hairs picking this one. Either girl, whoever goes out and has the right day, could go in there and get the win. That being said, you look at it, Molly McCann, better boxing, better wrestling, Luana Carolina, better kicks, better jiu-jitsu. So if Molly McCann goes in there, fights her fight, she should be able to put herself in dominant positions and come out victorious in this. So I am going to pick Molly McCann. Then side note, Luana Carolina is going to hear boos like she has never heard before on that walk into the octagon. Psychologically, I think it throws her off a little bit. If we were having this fight in the Apex or in Vegas on a pay-per-view, maybe I side something different. But in London, the O2, you got Molly Meatball McCann walking in there. I think she gets it done.
Yeah, I mean, that's like the third or fourth time we've mentioned the crowd, and it is a factor. Like, it is a factor.
Be a factor.
There's statistics that back it up. Like, it is a factor. All right. Gunnar Nelson steps back into it. Let's go versus Takashi Sato, they might say. Sato's 16-4. Gunnar Nelson 17-5-1. Haven't seen him in a while. A lot of question marks in this fight. Not a fight that I'm gonna bet particularly because there's just too many question marks. I really want Gunnar Nelson to win. That's who I'm going to be rooting for in this fight. If I end up sending a ticket, it's probably going to be by Gunnar Nelson decision, maybe submission, maybe a little dabble in submission. Because if he's the same Gunnar Nelson, then he should come out, heavy wrestling game plan, look for subs. And it should be relatively easy, honestly, if he comes back relatively like he left. So that's where I'm at. I'm kind of pause off, but my pick's going to be Gunnar Nelson by decision is going to be final. So Goose, rip us off.
I hear you. I'm fading you. I'm going with Sato in this one simply because you look at it. This fight happened in 2019. Give me Gunny all the way. But we're 2 years removed from the sport. At 3 years at this point, we got Takashi Sato training at Sanford MMA. He's been grinding this as a career every single day. And he's probably even been going harder these last 3 years. We haven't seen Gunnar Nelson since 2019. He wasn't even going to fight until we got it back in London. He says he wants to come back. They put him on this card. If it was even, I'd probably go Gunnar Nelson as well. But you give me Takashi Sato plus 325 with easily the better striking game in this one. I don't think many people are going to say Gunnar Nelson will have an advantage on the feet. Sato's been in there in Sanford with all these grapplers. I think his takedown defense is going to be better. His get up game is going to be better. So I think he's going to be looking for that knockout punch. We'll see if Gunnar Nelson's chin is what it was. But I'll take the active guy that's plus 325 in this one. So give me Takashi Sato.
Dano.
Wow, I do not like those odds, but I see. I didn't even look at those odds, and I don't like those odds. But I like Gunnar Nelson. I think ring rust could be an issue, especially at this old of an age for him. But I think the first round is just going to set the whole pace of the fight. Whether I think if he gets hurt early on, like you said, Sato's got some hands. If he gets hurt early on, I think he won't bounce back. But if he can get some takedowns, lay on him for a little bit, I think what's going to be big is grappling up against the fence, dirty boxing. I think if Gunnar Nelson can do that, stick to his game plan, I could see him getting a decision. But gosh, those odds stink. I don't see him knocking him out. I just, we got to get him on the ground, Gunnar. And I think he'll be able to. Older guys, they got some experience. They know how to get into some situations and get out of some situations. So I'm just going to put my trust in Gunnar in this fight, and I like him.
Next one, Patty the Baddie Pimblett makes his return after a stellar debut where he got rocked but bounced back, threw bombs, knocked out Luigi against the fence. It was music. The geeks were all over it. First round knockout prop. We called it word for word, and guess what? We're doing it again, most likely. Probably be a I forgot what I was gonna say, but Patty's knocking him out in the first round, and it's gonna be vicious. It might be a little bit rough in the very beginning because Rodrigo does like to come out a little fast, but Patty's eventually gonna get to where he wants in this fight. And it's going to be brutal. He's here to put on a show. I love this guy. He's not going to let us down, especially not to Rodrigo Vargas. He's a smaller Luigi. Take my word on it. Patty's going to come out and look way bigger than this guy. Give me Patty, first round knockout. I think I've said it 3 times now. Danny, you're up.
Let's go. I'm going to ride with Patty too, but I think some things I'm nervous about. We saw him get absolutely rocked by Vendramini, people hate on Vendramini, but Vendramini's pretty good. And but he got rocked. But then on the flip side, it's like, oh, he's got a good chin because in his past fights and even before he got into the UFC, there are clips of him getting rocked and even dropped at times. But he finds his way back. He gets up, and most of the time he finishes the fight. So in that aspect, I hope he doesn't leave anything open because Vargas does have some bricks in his hands. But I think he should walk through this fight. I think this will be one of those fights where once it's over, we'll look back in hindsight and be like, yeah, like he had no shot. I think Patty Pimblett will probably get it done in the first round.
Yeah, I mean, I keep saying knockout, but at the same time, like Vargas in his last fight, I mean, this guy's very dependent on his offensive grappling to win a lot of fights too, believe it or not. I mean, he held on to a guillotine, I think, for like 8 minutes of his last fight. So if he thinks he's going to out-grapple the Patty the Baddie, that will be interesting. Goosey, what do you got?
Get the brooms, fellas, because we got a clean sweep. I'm taking the Scouser. I think Patty comes out in this one, hits him with some slick stuff on the feet, mixes in the kicks. He's got to keep that chin tucked a little better. But I'm not sold that Rodrigo Vargas is any better than Luigi Vendramini. I don't, and if he is, it's not a huge step up, which I think that's what Patty's ready for. He comes out, he's got, in my opinion, he's going to be better on the feet. I think he's got better grappling, definitely better jiu-jitsu. Personally, I am picking Patty by sub. When I play this fight out in my head, I don't really see Patty losing, and I'm not going to let those thoughts sink in because that would be so sad, man. In London, Patty taking an L, that would be just so hard to watch. So I'm not even going to think about it, and I'm going to pick Patty, and I think he gets it done by sub, but I see what CEO's saying with the KO. So either way, I think Patty inside might be your best bet.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to the next one. It is Arnold Allen and Dan Hooker. Arnold Allen, 17-1. This guy, 8-fight UFC winning streak. 10-fight win streak total. Absolutely trajectory through the moon. Dan Hooker, on the other hand, 21-11, just a dog, known to take these fights, known to step in there with anybody. Got thrown a bag to come out and fight Ankalaev, or not Ankalaev, what's his name?
Makachev.
Yeah, got thrown an absolute bag to go get his shit clapped by Makachev. I feel like Dan Hooker's turned to more of like a bag fighter, prize fighter. I don't like this matchup. He's not shown anything at this weight class. It's kind of sketchy. He's really big. Arnold Allen, on the other hand, shown us a lot at this weight class. He's off a long layoff. I think Arnold Allen comes out even better than we saw him last time. There's nothing that you can really use to back Dan Hooker in recent outings. So give me the hot fighter off a long layoff as opposed to a guy fighting a hard skid and kind of just bouncing in there off a lot of traveling and a lot of money. So that could change a lot of people. So let's go to Goose.
Burn the boats, baby. This fight makes me nervous, but I mean, he said it himself, burn the boats. He's going all in. I'm going to take Dan Hooker with maybe not the line. I think it's even, but the public perspective is almost all on that Arnold Allen is going to win this fight, and I don't know why I know why they are on that. I have a feeling Dan Hooker goes out and gets it done. You look at it, he was 3-3 in his first featherweight run in the UFC, which, saying that out loud, definitely doesn't give me more hope in him. But skill-wise, if he doesn't look absolutely depleted, which that will be the side note, if he looks depleted on the scale, ride Arnold Allen. But if he looks like himself in there, I think skill for skill, he's got what it takes to get it done, because he's going to be the longer rangier fighter. He's going to be able to use the kicks a little bit. And Arnold Allen, I don't really see him out striking him. Maybe he clips the chin and knocks him out. But Arnold Allen would have to utilize the grappling in this matchup, which there's a lot of variables that have to go right for Dan Hooker. And I am saying that openly, but I don't want to see him go. I don't want to see him out of the UFC. He's the real BMF in my book, and I'm taking Dan Hooker.
Yeah, no, if they cut Dan Hooker, they'll get destroyed. I mean, they can't do it. I mean, his just strength of schedule is next level. So, Danny, what do you got?
Yeah, I like that, Goose. But I like what the UFC did here. They are really, feeding Arnold Allen a good bone here, because, I always talk about they feed a young prospect, an older guy, to boost his stock. And I think, even though Dan Hooker is a fan favorite and he's got a lot of highlights, he's also in a lot of highlights on the other end. Like, he's 21-11. That's tough to pick when the other guy's 17-1 and rising in his own weight class. Dan Hooker's been in lightweight for a while, hasn't had the success he wanted. Now he's dropping down. I think he's a middle of the pack of the ranks type of guy. He's not really pushing for a belt anywhere. So this will just be a good big name for Arnold Allen to beat. And I think he'll get it done. I see some sort of head kick, whether it's roundhouse, spinning, I don't know. I see a head kick coming. Hooker keeps his hands low. We saw with Chandler. And with the Makachev fight, he's got a lot of holes in his game. So I think Arnold Allen will get it done.
Yeah, and this is kind of like a sad note. I mean, especially for Gus. I mean, I hate to bring it up, but I mean, the UFC is a business, and Dan Hooker is a name that's hot as of late. So, if you got a guy like Arnold Allen who's saying he wants to come back and fight after a long layoff and he doesn't have a name, okay, well, one guy's going one way, one guy's going the other. It's like, let's share a little bit of this shine a little bit, because everyone, all the money's going to flood in on Dan Hooker come fight day. Like, yeah, right now the sharps might be hitting Arnold Allen a little bit, But Saturday morning when everybody wakes up and looks at their phone and sees Dan Hooker is even close to even, that line's going, that thing's getting skewed. So if you like Arnold Allen, hold your horses, wait for the public sway, and you're going to get a good price on Arnold Allen come fight time. So let's move on to the main event. Let's go, baby. Tom Aspinall, Alexander Volkov. Okay. Tom Aspinall's got like no ring time, but that's just because he's a stallion. So how can you really hate on him for that? On the other hand, Alexander Volkov, all the ring time in the world, one of the best strikers the UFC's ever seen. Heavyweight. I mean, this guy's lethal as fuck. He's only been knocked out like 2 times in his career, I think, maybe once. I think it was 2 times. Got knocked out 1 time earlier in his career, and then obviously he got Derek Lewis 459. So listen, man, this one's super tough because I love Tom Aspinall, and everything in me is like, dude, you got to pick him. He's going to be rising prospect. He's going to do this stuff. But on the other hand, I got Volkov, and all the things that he's good at just kind of nullifies Tom Aspinall. I mean, he's bigger than him. His striking and his range is so fucking veteran, like pinpoint beautiful. And his takedown defense is fucking outstanding. I mean, the guy is so big, it's so hard to take him down because he's so athletic. With that being said, I'm taking Tom Aspinall in this fight. I think he's going to fucking find the chin. And I think that fucking Volkov sleeps for the 3rd time in his life on Saturday night in London at the O2. Give me Tom Aspinall, round fucking 1, baby. Fuck yeah, baby. Let's go. Goosey, let's go.
You kind of broke it down. Volkov, he's got all the experience. Aspinall, I mean, this dude's a stallion in there. He goes in, he gets it done quick, gets his check and bounces. He's not paid by the hour. He goes in to get it done and get out. You look at this, Volkov, like 6'7", uses his range really well, the kicks, all that. It's going to be a tough matchup, but nobody's even been slowing Aspinall down. Like, he goes in there and he beats these guys easily. And then the guys that he beats do what the UFC does, and they put them down, not down a level, but they take back the competition a little bit. And the guys that he beats win their next fight. So the guys that he's beating are where they are supposed to be at in the UFC, and he's just a step above. He keeps climbing. He looks better and better each time out. And I think he's going to have the grappling advantage in this one. He's got the BJJ black belt. His dad was one of like the first people in the UK to get his black belt. He was born and raised for this. So I think you got a young star on our hands. I wrote an article earlier this year, I think it was last year, about the new school, and it was Cyril Gahn, him and Daukus, which not great looking back. Those 2 of those 3 have fought and they've lost their last fight, but I think Aspinall goes out and makes it 1 for 2 on those. So I think Aspinall gets it done. He hits hard. He's going to test Volkov's chin. Volkov is going to be under immense pressure, not only from being against the hometown crowd, but just sort of the Russian stigma right now too. Not that that has anything to do with it, but being a human, it would weigh on your mind a little bit. So I'm going to take Aspinall on this one, going out, the place behind him, and putting the place on his back. Let's go.
Yeah, this fight's sick how they set it up. Dano, rip it.
Yeah, so Volkov to me is like really scary. Like, he's been around for a while. He's a tough Russian that has knocked people out in the past brutally. But I mean, we've seen his last couple of fights. We saw the Derek Lewis fight, and I feel like, the only reason Derek Lewis hit that was because Volkov was absolutely gassed, and that was a 3-round fight. We got a 5-round main event. I think Aspinall will be dealing leg kicks, body shots. I can see him pushing up against the cage, doing a little dirty boxing. I think that can wear out Volkov. Volkov's older. Derek Lewis already hit the chin, so the chin's got to be depleted a little bit. Like Goose said, he's going to get that chin tested. And I think this will be another fight where the longer it goes, I see it helping Tom Aspinall. But I don't know. Once that cage door closes, I mean, it's anything goes, and Volkov's a scary dude to be on the other side of. But I'm gonna side with Aspinall, whether it's decision or KO. I don't know. I don't think it'd be a sub, but it'll definitely, I think, be Aspinall. Place will be going nuts.
Kind of like Gon did, just the speed is just going to be the factor in this fight. Like, yes, Volkov's probably more put together, but when Aspinall's in and out, pitter patter, and he's got the gas for 25, I'm going to change my pick to Tom Aspinall decision. And that's just because he wants to. Bold take.
Wow.
All right.
Wow. Mic drop.